Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're looking really closely at the engine room of the economy's small businesses, specifically their logistics. We're digging into a pretty interesting success story coming out of South Africa. It's about the rapid rise of DFSK commercial vehicles. They're mini trucks, they're panel vans. For a lot of entrepreneurs there, these are becoming, well, essential tools.
Yeah, and it's a fascinating case study in strategic adaptation, really.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the South African market, you see why just any old vehicle won't cut it. You got some serious operational pressures, fuel costs all over the place, roads that can go from smooth tarmac to rough gravel, potholes, you name it. And small businesses there, they absolutely need to squeeze every last bit of efficiency out of everything. Our sources are showing that these vehicles, the KS1S mini truck and the C35 panel van, they're not just trucks or vans. They feel like tailored solutions.
Right. So that's our mission today, isn't it? To unpack the evidence, look at the thinking behind why people are calling them mobile workshops or compact powerhouses. We'll focus on those three key things: efficiency, durability, and, maybe most importantly, affordability. Let's start with how they even got a foothold. How did they build that presence so quickly? Okay, so let's unpack this. The sources, they really highlight that DFSK is celebrating its first anniversary in South Africa. And they mention exceptional growth. That sounds, well, pretty significant in what must be a competitive market, right?
It is significant. And what's fascinating is that growth isn't just about the number of units sold. It's the infrastructure they put in place.
Yeah.
They clearly understood right off the bat that a work vehicle is totally useless if it's sitting somewhere waiting for a part. So now they have this rapidly expanding dealer network. We're talking 24 locations across the country already.
24 dealers. Wow. In the first year. That really signals they're in it for the long haul, doesn't it? It's not just testing the waters. It sounds like a real commitment to supporting these vehicles through their entire working life.
Exactly. And that network, that infrastructure, it directly supports their main promise: affordability without compromise. You look at the current starting prices, just over what, are $173,000. That's seriously disruptive for a commercial vehicle with this kind of capability.
Or 173,000. Yeah, that is very competitive. But okay, how do they hit that price point without making you think, okay, what's the catch? Where's the compromise? What corners aren't they cutting?
That's the million rand question, isn't it? And the answer seems to be, they aren't cutting corners on support, not where it counts for the operator. They've invested pretty heavily recently, renovated their head office, sure, but maybe more importantly for you, the owner running the business. They upgraded the local parts warehouse, keeping a large inventory of service and repair parts locally. That's the smart move. It guarantees minimal downtime. Think about it. If your van's off the road for a week waiting for a part from overseas, you're losing money. Simple as that. They seem to get that.
And the reliability numbers seem to back that up, right? That investment in quality control. All models come with a standard 3-year or 60,000-kilometer warranty. Okay, that's pretty standard. But this next bit is compelling: the warranty claim rate. In their first year, it was reported to be below 5%.
Below 5%. I mean, that speaks volumes, doesn't it? It really backs up that reliable workhorse claim right from the start. That low rate suggests the basic engineering, the build quality, it's solid. So with that foundation established, let's look at the vehicles themselves, starting with the K01S mini truck.
Okay, the K01S, it's got these great nicknames: mobile workshop, delivery powerhouse. This one feels like it's aimed squarely at the tradesperson, the builder, the plumber, construction crews.
Absolutely. And it's the capability they've packed into such a compact size that's the real appeal here. It handles a payload of up to 985 kilograms, so that's just shy of a full metric ton. For a small operator, that means you can potentially do in one run what might otherwise take two. Huge deal, especially given those fuel costs we talked about.
And the cargo box itself, it's surprisingly big, but the whole vehicle still fits into tight spots, right? Urban parking, crowded building sites. We're talking a cargo box that's, 2.7 meters long, nearly 9 feet. Plenty of space for tools, materials, ladders.
Now, we really need to talk about the drivetrain, because this is crucial for the kind of conditions you often face there. The K01S emphasizes toughness, and specifically, it's got rear-wheel drive. This is absolutely essential for handling those challenging South African roads. Let me explain why.
Okay, yeah. Tell us the so what of rear-wheel drive for a work truck like this.
Right. So with a front-wheel drive vehicle, when you load up the back heavily, you actually lift weight off the front wheels, the ones doing the driving. That reduces traction. But with rear-wheel drive, your payload, the heaviest part, sits right over the driving wheels. This gives you much better traction and stability. Think about getting up steep driveways on construction sites or navigating muddy tracks or even just dealing with big potholes or gravel roads. It really helps prevent the vehicle from getting stuck. It ensures you can actually get the job done, get to the site.
That makes perfect sense. A really practical design choice focused on durability and just getting where you need to go, even if it's tricky. And it seems it's not just a city runabout either. It can handle open roads too, with a top speed of 110 kilometers per hour.
Yeah, it's capable enough for longer stretches. But for the business owner, the real edge, day to day, comes back to efficiency. The K01S boasts a pretty impressive fuel consumption figure, 7.1 liters per 100 kilometers.
Okay, 7.1 liters per 100K. Combine that with its 40-liter fuel tank. Fewer stops for fuel, right? If you're a contractor charging by the hour, time spent not at the fuel station is basically time spent earning. And interesting, they're focusing on the driver too, now available with air conditioning and ABS braking.
Yeah, and that's not just fluff. Investing in driver comfort, driver well-being, it translates directly. Less fatigue means higher productivity, a safer driver, a more efficient driver overall.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears now from the rugged K01S mini truck over to the C35 panel van. This one's positioned as the cool, calm, and cargo-ready option. Feels like it's tailor-made for different kinds of logistics, doesn't it? Delivery services, maybe florists, bakers, anything needing secure, enclosed cargo space.
Exactly. The C35 is all about managing volume efficiently. It boasts a really significant 5.1 cubic meters of payload volume. That's a lot of space, enough to handle a serious amount of e-commerce packages or maybe large catering orders, things like that.
And the design seems focused on speed of operation in busy areas. You mentioned non-scratch floors, good for delicate cargo like cakes or electronics, I guess. Plus dual sliding doors for easy access from the curb, and a single rear door. Seems designed to minimize time spent at each drop-off.
Precisely. And if you look at the efficiency numbers here, you see how that strategy plays out. The C35 reports fuel efficiency of 7.2 liters per 100 kilometers, similar to the mini truck, actually. But, and this is important, this van gets a larger fuel tank, 55 liters.
55 liters. So that bigger tank isn't just a random spec, it's a strategic choice. The sources suggest for many delivery routes that could mean maybe a whole week without refueling?
Potentially, yes. For typical urban delivery loops, absolutely. Again, time not spent queuing at the pump is time the van is out there delivering, earning revenue. Now, let's peek under the hood because the performance figures really cement its workhorse identity. It's got an 85 kilowatt engine. Okay,
Yeah.
but the number we should really focus on is the torque, 148 Newton meters.
Right, torque. That's often misunderstood. For our listener, someone actually hauling goods, what does that 148 nm really tell them about what the van can do?
Torque is basically the twisting force, the pulling power. That 148 newton meters tells you this vehicle is built to haul, to pull weight, to overcome resistance. It's not primarily about accelerating fast like a sports car. What it means is when that van is fully loaded up and you hit a steep hill, maybe in Cape Town or Durban, the vehicle isn't going to struggle or bog down. It ensures it has the grunt to handle demanding delivery routes consistently, regardless of the load or the incline. It underpins that workhorse capability.
Got it. Pulling power, not just speed. And just like with the K01S, they're balancing that work capability with comfort for the driver. Again, the option of AC and ABS, spacious interiors, ergonomic seating. It's about keeping the driver productive and comfortable through a long day. So when we step back and look at the bigger picture here, what does all this mean? The success of both the K01S mini truck and the C35 panel van, it seems to reflect something larger, doesn't it? South African small businesses finding, maybe choosing, these really practical, purpose-built tools. Tools that solve everyday problems like delivery delays, tough roads, high running costs. Feels very pragmatic, making the most of what you have.
Yeah, and if you connect that to the wider economic picture, you see DFSK aligning its strategy with future trends too. Sustainability, reducing operating costs. While these petrol models are clearly hitting the mark right now, they're already bringing in electric alternatives.
Right, I saw that. The EC35 electric panel van and the EC31 electric mini truck. The EC35, for instance, offers a range up to 240 kilometers.
Now, 240 kilometers might not sound huge in a global context, but think about inner-city logistics. Define delivery routes within a city. For that, it's often perfectly adequate. And the key thing is the charging. It can apparently charge to 80% in under an hour. That means operators could potentially use a lunch break or loading downtime to top up. It makes EVs a genuinely viable, cost-effective option for urban fleets wanting to escape those volatile petrol prices.
And it goes beyond just standard deliveries, too. The sources mention the panel van being a perfect partner for South Africa's growing renewable energy sector, like for solar panel installations.
That's the suggestion, yeah. It points to these vehicles being positioned to support growth areas within the economy. They're designed to service where the work is happening. And looking even further out, they've got plans for 2026, expanding into passenger vehicles. But interestingly, sticking to that same core idea, value, efficiency, technology.
So taking the lessons learned from commercial vehicles into the passenger market. That includes hybrids like the DSFK E5 Plus SUV and new double cabs too, a C35 four-seater and a C32 double cab.
It's exactly. Applying that recipe, focusing on efficiency, robustness, practical technology, seems to be their plan for the family car market as well.
Okay, so let's recap the key takeaways for the KSR1S and C35. They seem to be succeeding because they hit this sweet spot. They're compact and maneuverable for cities, but they're also tough. That rear-wheel drive is key. They offer serious payload capacity, and maybe most critically, they deliver on fuel efficiency, which directly protects the profit margin for a small business owner.
Yeah, the final synthesis is really about empowerment, isn't it? DFSK's commitment seems to be about providing reliable, affordable, and increasingly sustainable commercial vehicles. They're giving South African entrepreneurs tools designed specifically for their challenging operating environment, not just slightly modified vehicles originally designed for, say, smooth European roads. And that raises a bigger question. We focus pretty heavily on how these vehicles are adapted for South Africa's unique roads and cost pressures. But could this blueprint, designing specifically for maximum fuel efficiency, real-world durability, high payload, prioritizing that over maybe luxury features or raw speed, could that approach be the key to unlocking commercial potential in other challenging global markets too, particularly in developing regions where e-commerce and delivery are exploding, but infrastructure might still be patchy or demanding? Something for you, the listener, to ponder.
A really interesting thought there, how designing for a specific tough environment might actually have broader global relevance. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into commercial vehicle logistics and the DFSK story. We'll catch you next time.